Chosen one. Stop scrolling. Something in your spirit already knows what this is. There's a weight hanging in the air, pressing on time itself, and your soul is sensing it. You felt the shift coming long before anyone said a word. That heaviness on your chest isn't anxiety, it's alignment. The divine clock is ticking. And the second week of August, 2025, has already been circled in the courts of heaven. You weren't called to watch it happen, you were chosen to usher it in. You are not like the rest. You were never meant to blend in or sit quietly while the winds of change roar past. You were set apart. This message found you because heaven pressed pause on everything around you just to get your attention. God has been whispering through sleepless nights, strange dreams, and that unshakable feeling in your gut. Get ready. It's coming. And now, it's not a whisper anymore. It's a trumpet, and you're hearing it. Let this truth settle deep inside you. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. Chosen one. There is a spiritual forecast written in fire. August 2025 will hit everyone. But only those who are awake will rise from it, marked, elevated, and sent. You are standing at the edge of prophecy. The shift is not coming for comfort, it's coming for alignment. Those who sleep through this moment will miss decades in the spirit. But you've been awakened for this very reason. You've been asking, why do I feel so much pressure? Why does it seem like everything is stirring, but nothing is breaking? Because God is stretching your spirit to hold what's about to be poured out. Not everyone will understand, but you're marked. The mantle has already brushed your shoulder. Something has been ignited in you, and it refuses to be snuffed out. Listen, heaven is opening windows, not doors. Doors can be reopened. Windows close quickly. This August isn't just another month, it's a divine moment. You are being handed access to acceleration, but it won't last forever. The second week of August isn't just about what God will do. It's about what you must be ready to receive: divine strategies, supernatural clarity, sudden separation. It will hit everyone, but it will elevate the prepared. It is written in the book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 6. In a little while, I will once more shake the heavens and the earth, the sea and the dry land. Chosen one. The world is spinning in chaos, but your spirit is being called into peace with purpose. That's why the attacks have increased. That's why your name has been under fire, your finances under pressure, your faith under trial. Because the enemy senses what is coming to your life this August, and he knows he can't stop it. But he can distract you, numb you, lull you back to spiritual sleep. Not today. You're not here to chase trends. You're here to shift atmospheres. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be light. The fire on your life has been misunderstood. But that fire wasn't meant to make you comfortable. It was meant to consume you until nothing remains but glory. It's already begun. You've been seeing repeating numbers, experiencing divina delays, encountering strange resistance. This isn't spiritual coincidence. This is spiritual positioning. Heaven is aligning the timeline with your destiny. That ache in your spirit, it's the sound of spiritual labor. You are about to birth something eternal. Now hear this. The mantle on your life is not decoration, it's a demand. You asked God for elevation, but He's asking you for obedience. The second week of August will expose the casual and crown the consecrated. Your posture determines your portion. Your hunger determines your harvest. Heaven has been speaking for weeks, but this is the confirmation you've prayed for. The tension is not punishment, it's preparation. Your obedience now will echo for generations. There will be judgment for the lukewarm, the delayed, the rebellious. But there will also be glory for the chosen, the surrendered, the watchful. You can't afford to hesitate. This window is not waiting. The angels are already moving. The line has been drawn, and you've been summoned. Take this seriously. Take your crown seriously, because this will not pass quietly. What's about to hit will shake households, systems, and spirits. But those who were positioned, they'll rise. Share this word if it burns in your bones. Subscribe, because this is just the beginning. If your spirit knows this message is for you, then seal it in the comments by typing 444. That is your prophetic act. That is your response to the voice of God pulling you forward. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way the air around you feels thicker. Time itself seems to be bending, speeding up, then pausing in strange moments. That's not imagination. That's not emotion. That's a divine warning pulsing through the atmosphere. The second week of August is not normal, and deep down, your spirit already knows. Something irreversible is on the way. Heaven has circled those days, marked them, charged them, set them apart. And while others plan vacations or promotions, you're feeling the ground beneath you shift. God has hidden this urgency in your bones. You sense it even when you can't explain it. The veil is thinning. There is a scheduled event in the spirit realm that is about to manifest in the natural, and it won't knock politely. It will break in. This won't be a gentle breeze of change. It will be a wave, a sudden, sweeping moment where the invisible becomes undeniable. For some, it will bring divine exposure. For others, divine positioning. And for a few, it will be divine release. Heaven's agenda will override human planning. And the second week of August is not just a date, it is a line drawn across the spirit realm. Don't look for signs in the sky. The confirmation is in your discernment. God has been stirring your awareness because this shift requires watchers, gatekeepers, intercessors who don't need lightning to know that rain is coming. This moment is for those who have trained their senses to recognize the unseen hand of God preparing to move. Yes, you felt unsettled. Yes, you've been more sensitive lately. Things that once felt easy now carry unusual resistance. Conversations feel shallow. Crowds feel louder. Silence feels holy. That's not mood, it's movement. You are shifting from old rhythms to prophetic awareness. The second week of August is not coming to visit, it's coming to rearrange. And hear this clearly. What happens in those days will affect far more than what's visible. This is a spiritual realignment that will affect decisions, destinies, and directions. Hidden things will be revealed. Delayed instructions will be released. Secret agendas, both divine and demonic, will be exposed. What has been building silently will erupt suddenly, as it is written in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. For those who have been secretly praying, faithfully waiting, quietly enduring, this will feel like confirmation. But for the distracted, the prideful, the careless, this moment will pass like vapor, and they will wonder why nothing changed, not realizing everything did. The greatest danger is not missing the blessing. It's not noticing it came. You will see it in people. Some will suddenly drift from your life, not because of offense, but because their assignment in your story has expired. Others will show up unexpectedly, divinely sent, to help you carry what's next. This second week of August will reset spiritual contracts, relationships, positions, circles. God will begin severing and securing without explanation. And the ones who try to cling to expired alignments, they'll feel resistance in everything, because heaven is moving forward and won't wait for disobedience to catch up. You've cried for change. You've begged for answers. You've asked God for a sign. This is it. The pressure is not punishment, it's invitation. The shift is not chaos, it's alignment. You are being invited into something you don't fully understand yet, but your spirit does. The silence of God in the last season was not absence. It was preparation. He's been silent because he's been moving. And now, as we approach that critical week in August, you will begin to notice divine patterns intensify. The number of coincidences around you will increase. Dreams will be clearer, warnings sharper. Time will feel compressed, and your peace will not be found in what you control, but in who you trust. Don't look for clarity in your logic. Look for peace in your spirit. The second week of August will not make sense to the mind. It will only make sense to those whose hearts are in sync with heaven. You are not called to predict the future. You are called to discern your moment. And this is it. The second week of August is a divine interruption, tailor-made for God's chosen ones. It will either disrupt your plans or fulfill your purpose, depending on your posture. You don't need more time to get ready. You need to decide. You know enough. You've seen enough. You've sensed enough. The moment is already at your door. What will rise in those days has already been conceived in the Spirit. It is only awaiting your response, because this time, it won't just shake your environment, it will shake you. You don't need a title to know you're chosen. You don't need confirmation from people who never saw your battles. The second week of August isn't coming to validate you, it's coming to reveal you. Everything you've endured was for this unveiling. Every hidden place where you wept. Every moment you almost gave up, but didn't. Heaven was watching. And now, the hour is near. There's a reason you never fit in. A reason doors closed. A reason relationships cracked under pressure. God wasn't punishing you, He was preserving you. What's coming in August cannot rest on the unprepared. The glory that's about to descend cannot rest where compromise lives. So He isolated you, refined you, set you apart. Not because you were weak, but because you were worthy of weight. Others see the pressure, but they don't know the purpose behind it. You've carried more than most. Stayed quiet when falsely accused. Remained faithful when no one clapped. You were training in silence for a moment the world won't be able to ignore. And now, the moment is at the door. Don't be surprised when the intensity increases. The enemy senses what's about to rise. Hell studies patterns, and your pattern of obedience has provoked attention in the spirit realm. You've become dangerous, not because you're loud, but because you're rooted. And rooted ones cannot be shaken. God has tested your posture. Now, He's about to test your response. As that week unfolds, disruptions may intensify, plans may fall apart, people may reveal their true colors. It's not chaos. It's clarity. Everything unstable is being shaken before the glory settles, because the weight of what's coming cannot land on fractured foundations. Chosen one, this is the hour you were born for, not someday. Now, the battle you're in is not about your past, it's about the crown coming in August. That's why warfare has followed you like a shadow. The pressure isn't random, it's prophetic. It is written in the book of Revelation. Chapter 3. Verse 11. I am coming soon. Hold fast what you have, so that no one may seize your crown. And you've spent years wondering when it would all make sense, why the timing never seemed right, why every almost ended in disappointment. Because God wasn't interested in giving you what you wanted. He's interested in giving you what you're ready to keep. And now, the readiness has arrived. This moment will come suddenly. For those prepared, it will look like promotion. For the unprepared, it will look like punishment. But heaven doesn't rush. It waits until the appointed time, and this time is written in fire. And no, it won't be easy. Chosen things never are. But ease was never. The promise impact was. And when the glory of August lands, it will land on the surrendered, not the stubborn. You're not being asked to be perfect. You're being asked to yield. God is not looking for flawless. He's looking for available. And now, chosen one, your spirit has to answer. This is more than motivation. It's a mandate. You've been warned. You've been prepared. The moment is here. So, make this declaration boldly. As an act of agreement with heaven, type these 4 words in the comments. I will not miss it. Oh, why? Because this moment requires more than silence. It requires spiritual agreement. When you type those words, you're declaring before heaven, earth, and hell that you are awake, aware, and positioned. You're saying, I choose to be ready. I choose alignment. I refuse to sleep through this shift. It's not about attention, it's about alignment. Every act of agreement matters, even this one. And yes, heaven sees it. Your obedience, even in small things, shifts more than you know. You're not the same person you were 6 months ago. Something in you has changed, sharpened, been purified, and that change is what qualifies you for this next glory. You don't need applause to know you're stepping into it. You just need to move when heaven moves. When that week arrives, don't hesitate. Don't look sideways. Don't compare timelines. Stay focused. Stay postured. Stay yielded. Because when the release hits, it won't be gradual. It will be sudden. And those who were ready will rise. You are not called to be a spectator. You're a carrier. And the weight you carry is about to become the light others follow. So, walk boldly. Heaven is watching. Hell is trembling. And earth is groaning, waiting for the revelation of the sons and daughters of God. That includes you. There is a divine hush falling over the earth, a pause, not born of silence but of preparation. You can feel it, if you're still enough. A tension between what was and what's coming. The atmosphere is electric, with unseen movement. Because heaven does not shift in noise, it shifts in weight. And the weight of the second week of August is pressing in. This is not a random stirring. This is what prophets long ago spoke of in riddles and shadows, an appointed moment when old structures collapse and unseen ones rise. It may not come with fireworks or headlines. It may not trend or go viral. But those with spiritual ears will hear it thunder. Those with spiritual eyes will see the ground split open beneath casual faith. You are being summoned not to predict, but to perceive. This is why you felt more uncomfortable in comfortable places. Why old conversations feel hollow. Why you can't tolerate the same music. Distractions. Or noise. It's because your spirit is tuning in to a different frequency, a divine signal, announcing that something irreversible is scheduled. The second week of August isn't about the calendar. It's about alignment. Something is about to click into place, and once it does, the direction of your journey will shift forever. This is not a season for seeking applause. It's a season for seeking instruction. God isn't releasing emotional highs. He's giving strategy, wisdom, correction. He's calling his chosen ones to mature clarity. You cannot step into glory carrying confusion. The fog around your mind is not accidental. The enemy wants to keep you distracted, dull, and numb in this hour because he knows what clarity will unlock. The second week of August will be defined not by events, but by responses. The external shaking is guaranteed, but it's your internal posture that will determine whether you advance or fall behind. The spiritual line is being redrawn, and those who ignore it will lose more than they expect. God is not playing games with this generation. He's offering grace, but it is not infinite in its opportunity. When heaven opens a window, you don't negotiate, you move. And this particular window has movement attached to it. What you do in that week will echo in your next decade. You will feel it. The shift won't be theoretical. Relationships will stretch or snap. Opportunities will either arrive with urgency or vanish without warning. People around you may seem irritated or distant, and it won't be personal, it will be spiritual. Heaven is rearranging tables, repositioning chairs, and reassigning roles. You will feel the discomfort before you see the change, but you must not panic. Remember, when God moves, he often hides his hand behind discomfort. Joseph was thrown into a pit before the palace. Esther was hidden in a kingdom before she changed it. Paul was blinded before he saw truth. Your current confusion is not the absence of purpose, it's the birthing pain of it. As it is declared in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Chosen one. Your time has a name, and its name is soon. The second week of August is not random, it's a time with purpose under heaven. A scheduled move, and you are not watching it from the outside. You are in the center of it. That's why things feel off balance. That's why you've been stripped of false comforts and routine securities. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. In these coming days, clarity will often feel like loss. God will remove people who kept you company but weakened your courage. He will allow doors to close that once kept you secure but no longer serve your growth. He will dismantle illusions of stability that you depended on so he can rebuild you from truth. This won't always feel like a blessing, but it will become one. Trust the pruning. The second week of August will not look like harvest. It will look like a blade. But it is that very blade that clears the field for the seeds to finally grow. Many will miss it because they are looking for comfort. But the chosen will see the blade and recognize God is here. Your responsibility is not to predict what happens. It's to prepare your response. God is not asking for performance, he's asking for positioning. Can he find you faithful when nothing makes sense? Can he trust you to keep walking when you feel blind? Can He anoint you while you're still grieving what was lost? If your answer is yes, then the second week of August won't just hit you, it will lift you. There's a moment in every story where everything begins to accelerate, when what was slow becomes sudden. For you, that moment is almost here. The second week of August is not a season of waiting. It is a divine collision. The preparation and pressure, the pain and perseverance, it all meets in this exact window. You were never waiting aimlessly. You were waiting strategically. Heaven has aligned something specific for you. And when it hits, it won't ask permission. Some people will walk into it numb and unaware. Others will walk in offended and distracted. But you, chosen one, you will walk in ready, because something in your spirit refuses to stay asleep. You've endured too much to let this pass you by. You didn't survive hell just to miss heaven's release. Even when it felt like no one saw you, God saw everything, every hidden act of obedience, every time you sowed in silence, every prayer whispered through clenched teeth, every yes you gave when it cost you everything. That seed is about to speak. And the second week of August, that's when it begins to rain. But listen closely, this rain doesn't fall evenly. It falls where the soil is ready. The posture of your heart determines the outpouring. God is not just blessing effort, He's blessing alignment. That means your attitude matters. Your motives matter. Your heart posture matters. You can't manipulate your way into this move of God. You must surrender into it. Some of you have been on the verge of quitting. Life has felt heavier. You've been walking with a quiet exhaustion, wondering if you're crazy for believing something big is coming. But let me confirm it for you. You're not crazy. You're called, and you're not walking alone. You've been divinely guided to this word because heaven wanted to remind you you're right on time. You're not late. You didn't miss it. In fact, you're ahead because you're alert. That matters more than you know. That's why I encourage you to share this word. Don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your circle needs this confirmation. Someone on your timeline is on the verge of walking away from everything God called them to build. One post, one share, one moment of boldness might realign someone's destiny. This isn't just content, it's a call. And if these messages have been speaking directly to your spirit, subscribe now. Stay connected to what heaven is saying, not just once, but continuously. Don't allow the enemy to isolate you in a season where connection could save your momentum. You don't need to walk blind when vision is being released week after week. Also, if you feel stirred to go deeper, if something inside you knows this is good ground, consider supporting this mission. Your donation helps extend the reach of this message, bringing it into homes, hearts, and nations. This isn't about money. It's about multiplying impact. When you give into revelation, you don't just sow, you unlock. Now listen closely. The second week of August will not just arrive, it will confront, it will ask hard questions. What are you still holding on to that no longer belongs in your next season? What secret weight or fear have you excused for too long? Because when the glory comes, it doesn't negotiate, it separates. And what isn't aligned will be cut away. As spoken through the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 21, verse 26, remove the turban, take off the crown, exalt the humble, and bring low the exalted. This is what August will do. It will reverse what man has elevated and exalt what heaven has hidden. Don't be surprised if influence shifts hands. If people you thought were spiritual giants are exposed, and voices once ignored are suddenly lifted, God is purifying platforms and reassigning mantles. So, when things begin to shake, don't panic. When people disconnect from you, let them. When opportunities shift, bless them. When the things you leaned on fall away, don't rush to rebuild them. Sometimes, God allows the external to collapse to reveal the internal still standing. You are being refined for something heavier. You're not losing, you're being lightened. He's trimming what won't survive your elevation. The glory coming requires room, and room often requires release. Chosen one, you didn't come this far to stop here. This is not where your story flatlines. This is where it multiplies. This is where obedience unlocks overflow. Don't mistake pressure for failure. This pressure is evidence that God is near, and the promise is close. So stay faithful, stay aware, stay in position. And if this word confirms what's been burning in your spirit, like it, share it, subscribe to the stream of prophetic instruction. And if you're moved, sow a seed into what you know is sacred. We are not waiting for a move of God. We are in the early tremors of it. There is a number. Heaven is pressing into your spirit, even now, not a random digit, but a prophetic signal. Because in the divine pattern of God's timing, numbers are not just mathematics. They are markers, codes, confirmations. And if you're reading this, it's because you are part of a remnant. God is positioning with precision for what's about to unfold in the second week of August. That week is not coming for the unanchored. It's coming for those who've been rooted through the storms. And if your roots are deep, you won't be swept away when it comes. You'll rise, not by accident, but by divine calculation. What's about to be released carries weight. It carries clarity. It carries the kind of favor that can't be earned with effort alone. It can only be unlocked by alignment. And heaven is checking for alignment now. You've likely been feeling a strange tension these past few weeks. Moments of peace interrupted by waves of agitation. Sudden insights. Then deep silence. Pulling away from old distractions, but not yet knowing what's replacing them. That's not confusion. It's the divine transition between one assignment and the next. The second week of August is a spiritual crossing point. And this is what most people miss. Crossings come with testing. Jordan River. Moments don't feel like triumph. They feel like risk. They demand faith before footing. And that's where many hesitate. But not you. You've been walking by faith long before now. You've been stretching when no one clapped, obeying when no one noticed. That obedience has positioned you for what's next. Chosen one. Everything you've sown in secret is being measured by heaven for public release. But here's the truth. Release doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most trustworthy. And trust is built in the quiet trenches, not the loud platforms. That's why you've been hidden, not forgotten, protected, covered until the hour of revealing, and that hour is approaching fast. You are part of a divine rollout that will ripple far beyond what your eyes can see. There are people attached to your yes. There are doors hanging on your decision. There are regions, families, generations that will either rise or remain, depending on your response to this moment. This is not pressure, it's purpose. As declared in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22, the least of you will become 1,000, the smallest, a mighty nation. I am the Lord. In its time I will do this swiftly. And in its time. Not your time. God's time. And that time is close. You've asked God to use you. He's answering. But his answer doesn't always come with applause. It comes with activation. And the second week of August is just that, a divine activation point. One of those rare moments in the spiritual calendar where obedience opens acceleration and decisions seal direction. You must be clear, not emotional, clear. The fog is lifting because clarity is required. The casual will miss this moment, but the consecrated will recognize it. In these days, your sensitivity will become your survival. You'll notice shifts in conversations. Listen closely. You'll feel the urge to withdraw. Follow it. You'll wake up at odd hours. Pray then. These are not distractions. They are divine notifications. Promptings from heaven meant to guide you across the threshold of purpose. And now, in this exact moment, heaven is looking for agreement, for alignment, for action. So if this message is speaking to something buried deep in your spirit, if you feel the trembling in your chest, the confirmation in your gut, the stillness that says, this is not normal, respond. Seal it by typing this prophetic number in the comments. 1111. Why this number? Because 1111 is a signal of divine transition. One door closing, another opening. It is the number of angelic alertness, of alignment, of movement through gates that are open for only a moment. It's a trumpet in the spirit realm. It's a yes, Lord, in code. You're not just typing numbers. You're making a declaration. You're saying, I hear, I discern, I obey. And obedience is the only key that still unlocks holy things. There will be people who laugh at this. People who scroll past and think, this is hype. But you know better. You can feel the difference in this moment. You can feel the truth pressing through every line. The weight isn't emotional. It's eternal. Something real is happening, and your spirit won't let you dismiss it. So don't silence what God is activating. Don't downplay what you know is divine. You don't need more signs. This is the sign. You don't need another voice. Heaven is speaking right now. You don't need to qualify yourself. You were chosen long before anyone gave you permission. All that's left is your yes. Type 1111 now, not as a trend, but as a trigger, because what you're stepping into isn't for the masses, it's for the marked. There is a sacred stillness that often arrives just before a major move of God. Not everyone senses it, but those who are chosen do. It doesn't feel loud or dramatic. It feels like pressure and preparation wrapped in quiet moments. You look around and everything seems normal. But internally, you're stirred in ways you can't explain. That's because heaven doesn't always announce itself with noise. Sometimes, it shows up in the quiet conviction that everything is about to shift. And that's where you are right now. This isn't paranoia. It's prophecy. The second week of August isn't creeping toward you, it's rushing. And every second until it arrives is part of a holy countdown. And while the world carries on distracted, dulled, and disinterested, you're being awakened, called out of slumber, and drawn into holy anticipation. This moment is sacred, and sacred things require space. That's why you've felt the pull to withdraw. That's why people who once fed you now feel empty. That's why conversations that once excited you now feel like noise. You're not becoming cold. You're becoming consecrated. God is reducing your access to make room for revelation, because what's coming can't land in a cluttered soul. This is why obedience in this season isn't optional. It's essential. There are instructions God wants to give you, but they are hidden in stillness, not volume. You'll hear him in quiet places, in moments where your flesh wants distraction, but your spirit says, "Wait, don't move yet. Listen." And he's separating you, not to isolate you, but to sharpen your discernment, because when that week in August comes, you'll need more than belief. You'll need clarity. You'll need to know what's God and what's just noise, what's timing and what's temptation, what's assignment and what's a trap. Chosen one. Make no mistake, not every opportunity that knocks is divine. Not every invitation is holy. Not every open door is from heaven. Some doors are distractions dressed as blessings. And that's why God is quieting your world now, so that when those choices come, you'll move from discernment, not desperation. The days ahead will require it, because what's coming isn't just a shift in atmosphere, it's a shift in access. Doors are about to open that you didn't knock on. Conversations are coming that you didn't initiate. Rooms will invite you in without you asking. But when that happens, it won't be your charisma that keeps you there. It will be your character. It will be your posture. It will be whether you can carry weight without needing applause. You've been prepared for this, not by chance but by fire. God has been forming you in hidden places, and while others have been obsessed with platforms, He's been perfecting your posture. That quiet, consistent faithfulness, yes, that's what heaven honors. Not talent, not numbers, not hype, but consistency, obedience, surrender when no one is looking. So don't mistake delay for denial. What felt like years of silence were years of precision. God wasn't ignoring you. He was building you in layers, carving your discernment, shaping your strength, and forging your endurance. As it says in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all." Your struggle hasn't been wasted. Your waiting hasn't been ignored. Everything you've walked through is producing something weighty, something holy, something that can't be undone by a bad day or a wrong comment. That's why this next season won't feel like striving. It will feel like stepping into alignment, like finally walking in shoes that were made just for you, because you've been in training for this moment without even knowing it. And yes, there will be resistance. Glory always attracts warfare. But this time, you'll be different. You'll be more stable, more focused, less shaken. You won't explain your obedience, you'll embody it. You won't beg to be understood, you'll simply follow where He leads. Don't rush this moment. Let the silence train you. Let the pruning finish. Let the stillness speak, because the second week of August will not tolerate distraction. When the shift comes, it will come quickly, and those who were postured in stillness will be the first to hear the instruction. God is not slow. He is strategic, and what He is preparing in you now will be needed not next year, not 5 years from now, but days from now. So remain faithful in the stillness. Don't despise the quiet. Don't resist the stretching. This is holy ground. This is the final lap before activation. You don't need clarity from people. You need communion with God. And he's speaking more clearly than ever, just not through noise, through peace, through pruning, through posture. Listen well. By now, you've noticed the shift isn't just external. It's not only in the atmosphere or the calendar, it's happening inside you. Quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Something is changing in the way you perceive, respond, and discern. What used to move you no longer stirs you. What once felt urgent now feels empty. That is the sign you're not who you used to be. You are evolving into the version of yourself that can carry what's coming. This isn't simply spiritual growth. It's spiritual preparation. The kind that heaven initiates when a person is nearing their moment. The second week of August has already begun its pull on your life. The signs have been increasing. Unexpected interruptions, divine delays, unusual dreams, relational distancing, internal urgency, all signals that something bigger than you is aligning around you. But here's the danger. When the internal shift begins, it becomes easy to doubt yourself. You start to question what's real. You look for evidence that something's happening. But God often hides the evidence to test your posture. Faith must stand where proof disappears. That's how he separates the curious from the called. You are not being ignored. You are being entrusted. Entrusted with weight. Entrusted with revelation. Entrusted with a role in this next move of God that only a surrendered heart can carry. That's why you're not being entertained. That's why the easy path has been shut off. God doesn't train soldiers in comfort. He trains them in clarity through conflict. If it's felt like a fight lately, good. That means you're on the front line. The second week of August will not be a reward for ease. It will be a mantle for those who didn't give up when no one was watching. Heaven is coming to mark the persevering. And there's something you need to know. You don't have to feel ready to be ready. Some of God's most powerful moves began when people felt their weakest. David wasn't trained for battle. He was trained in fields. Esther didn't grow up with strategy. She grew up with surrender. Moses didn't even want the assignment. He just couldn't ignore the fire. You've been trying to calculate the moment. But heaven's not waiting on your confidence. It's waiting on your yes. And if your soul is trembling right now, it's not fear. It's recognition. Something in you knows this is your line in the sand. And yes, the temptation to shrink will come, to stay where it's safe, to delay obedience and pretend you're still processing. But deep down, you know the truth. God isn't asking you to process. He's asking you to proceed. As written in the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. This season is not about doing more, it's about doing the right thing. Obedience will be your breakthrough. Not hustle, not performance, just obedience. And in the second week of August, many will be tested in this exact way. Some will be asked to leave comfort zones that have grown toxic. Others will be instructed to shut doors that are no longer aligned with God's rhythm. Some will be led to start, while others are told to stop. And all of it will feel unfamiliar, but it will also feel right. That's how you'll know, not by how easy it is, but by how holy it feels. Don't let fear speak louder than faith. This is not a moment to analyze. This is a moment to respond. The same God who has been whispering to you in the stillness will be the one walking beside you in the storm. And he's not vague. He's detailed, intentional, exact. Every step you've taken has been on purpose. Even your detours have been woven into divine redirection. And now, He's pulling you into convergence where what you carry and what heaven scheduled meet. Don't look back. That season is closed. Don't look sideways. That's not your race. Look forward. Chosen one. Eyes up. Spirit open. This is sacred ground. And every moment between now and the second week of August is a countdown to commissioning. You've outgrown what once sustained you. That's not a loss, it's confirmation. And when the wave hits, you won't be scrambling to catch it. You'll already be moving with it. You'll realize you were never waiting on the moment was waiting on you. And now that you've awakened, it cannot pass you by. Heaven has recognized your readiness. There is a silence that comes before every storm, not the storm of chaos, but of glory. And if you've been listening, your spirit already knows. Something is building. A moment is forming. Heaven isn't just preparing to move around you, it's preparing to move through you. The second week of August is not just about what will happen in the world, it's about what will happen in you. Because before God releases a wave, He prepares a vessel. You are that vessel. And that's why the fire has been hotter, the attacks more strategic, and the isolation deeper. You are being cleared out, not cast aside. What feels like stripping is actually sanctifying. God has been removing everything in your life that would crack under the weight of what's coming. The friendships that faded, the opportunities that closed, the patterns that no longer work. It's not a loss. It's a rescue. Because what's coming in August will not land gently. It will land with weight. And only what's been fortified will remain standing. You may feel like you've been walking blind, but in truth, you've been walking by faith. And faith sees farther than fear ever will. That's what's kept you steady through what broke others. You didn't need answers. You just needed instruction. And every time you obeyed in the dark, heaven took note. Now, the second week of August is about to shift from preparation to propulsion. You won't be waiting anymore. You'll be walking in it. And not slowly, not cautiously, but with the full force of someone who has already died to fear, doubt, and delay. You've paid the price in private. Now God is about to release you in public. But don't expect applause. Expect resistance. The enemy doesn't fight what doesn't threaten him. And make no mistake, you are a threat. That's why he's tried to silence your voice, confuse your mind, and weigh down your heart. But he failed. Because what God ordained for August, hell can't cancel. You've felt the tension rising. Moments when you wanted to give up. But something inside said, hold on just a little longer. That something was the Spirit of God keeping you in place while He rearranged the battlefield ahead of you. You weren't being held back. You were being held safe. Now the gates are about to open. And when they do, the ones who didn't bow to culture, comfort, or compromise will rise with authority. Not man-made authority, but divine commissioning. This is not the time to second-guess what you know is holy. This is not the hour to edit what heaven gave you because it doesn't fit the world's trends. This is the time to speak, to move, to step into what's been waiting for your obedience. Because every delay you thought was denial was actually divine timing. As it is written in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. chosen one. What was promised is now moving, and it's moving quickly. The second week of August is not a projection, it's a collision, a sacred intersection between what God has spoken and what you are ready to carry. This is where you activate it, not through performance, but through posture. The way you stand in the days ahead matters more than how loud you shout. Glory rests on still shoulders, ones that don't flinch under pressure. And in this exact moment, heaven is searching for agreement. If your spirit knows this is confirmation, if every line has echoed something you haven't been able to say out loud, then respond. Make it clear to the spirit realm where you stand. No more confusion. No more hesitation. Comment this below as a declaration. I'm fully aligned. And why this declaration? Because it's more than words. It's a prophetic act. When you type, I'm fully aligned, you are announcing to heaven that you are in position, to hell that you are off limits, and to your own soul that you are no longer wavering. You're not just reacting emotionally, you're responding spiritually. That short phrase tells the invisible realm, I recognize the timing. I receive the assignment. I release all resistance. It is a banner over your heart, marking you as ready for the weight of what's coming. I'm fully aligned means I'm not late. I'm not unsure. I'm not halfway in. I am ready. No excuses. No shadows. No shrinking back. Because when the weight of August hits, you don't want to still be wondering. You want to be walking in authority, in surrender, in alignment. This is not a drill. This is the moment. You are not the same. You're not confused. You're not behind. You are fully aligned. Say it. Believe it. Live it. You've been walking under a heavy sense of urgency, not the panic of this world, but the pulse of heaven pressing into time. And now, you understand why. The second week of August is not a random checkpoint. It is a divine release date. The kind of moment where decades collapse into days, and what once felt delayed arrives suddenly, without warning. That's why your spirit hasn't been able to rest. It's not anxiety. It's alignment. The closer you get to the shift, the more your internal world begins to stir. Old appetites dry up. Familiar voices feel distant. Even your own goals begin to feel too small for what God is trying to give you. That's not confusion. It's clarity pushing through the fog. You've outgrown the version of yourself that played it safe. That part of you can't go into August. God is calling the real you forward now. The refined one. The one who's been stripped, stretched, and surrendered. The one who stayed when others quit. The one who cried in private but kept standing in public. That version of you is being commissioned, not for attention, but for assignment. And if you felt hidden, good, because hiding isn't punishment. It's protection. God hides what's holy until it's ready. Now, He's calling you out of the shadows. But don't mistake this for hype. The second week of August is not for the uncommitted. It will come like a wave. And only those who are postured will ride it. The rest will watch it pass and wonder why they still feel stuck. This is not about performance, it's about positioning. And yes, some people around you won't understand what's changing. That's okay. They weren't called to carry this. You were. You've been walking around with a spiritual weight that has no name yet, but you know it's real. That pressure in your chest, that quickening in your dreams, that sudden shift in your language, it's not emotional. It's prophetic. God is about to do something through you that you couldn't have earned through effort alone. This is about favor. And favor is always preceded by fire. And if you've felt like the fire's been hotter lately, it's because you're close. As it is written in the book of James, chapter 4, verse 10, humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up. You don't need to chase influence when God is building impact. You don't need to strive for visibility when heaven is arranging divine visibility. What's coming will not be man-made. It will not be marketed. It will be the kind of sudden shift that only God could write. And your obedience is what keeps you in the story. That's why I'm encouraging you right now, don't walk this season alone. If these messages have been confirming what you've already felt in your spirit, then stay connected. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss a single drop of prophetic instruction. The unfolding doesn't stop here. What you're stepping into next will require guidance, reminders, and alignment. And if this word has stirred something in you, share it. Send it to someone who's also felt the weight but hasn't had the language. Someone who's felt the press of heaven but didn't know what it meant. Your one act of obedience in sharing could be the exact rescue someone else needs. This isn't just content. This is a clarion call. And you're not just a viewer, you're part of the army. For those who want to take it deeper, who've been saying, I don't just receive this, I want to partner with it. You can also support this mission. Your donation isn't about a platform. It's about planting seed into prophetic soil. Every gift keeps the message flowing to those who need it most. In moments that matter most, when you sow into revelation, you accelerate its reach. Now pause. Breathe. What you're sensing right now isn't hype. It's holy. Heaven has already prepared what's coming. The release isn't waiting on God, it's waiting on your yes, your consistency, your clarity. And in this window before August strikes, you still have time to shed distractions, strengthen your focus, and renew your fire. This isn't the moment to fall back into old patterns. It's the moment to step forward in radical faith. The door is not just open, it's charged. And those who walk through it will find favor, strategy, and divine connection waiting on the other side. Chosen one, you've come too far to turn back now. Everything in your story, every wound, every delay, every wilderness has been pointing to this. Not a new religion, a new release. So, like it, if you're feeling this in your bones, share it with the ones who need to feel what you're feeling. Subscribe, so you stay connected to every next step. And if you're led, sow into this message. Not because you're forced, but because your yes is real. This isn't just your breakthrough, it's your becoming. The second week of August is not waiting for applause, it's waiting for readiness. And if you've come this far, it's because God has been conditioning your soul to recognize divine timing, even when nothing around you looks different. That's the mystery of the Spirit. It stirs the internal before shifting the external. You've likely noticed it already. The sense that something invisible is being rearranged. The way certain conversations now feel like noise. The urgency that lingers even when you rest. This is not emotional instability, it's the result of spiritual alignment. When heaven starts leaning in, your old appetites begin to lose their grip, and what once seemed enough no longer satisfies. That's not disappointment, that's development. God is maturing your hunger so that what's coming doesn't destroy you. Many have fallen not because they weren't called, but because they weren't ready. They mistook visibility for validity. They stepped into assignments that their character couldn't carry. But you, God has slowed you down on purpose. He's been walking you through a slower season, not to punish you, but to preserve you, because glory can't rest on instability. And what's coming in the second week of August is heavy. It will separate what looks holy from what actually is. It will pull back the curtain on shallow structures and reveal which hearts have depth. You may not be the loudest, the most polished, or the most applauded, but if your roots go deep, you'll remain when others collapse. This is why the refining has been so intense, the isolation so real. You've been placed in situations where you had no choice but to trust God in the dark, places where you couldn't trace His hand, but still chose to trust His character. And those choices have not been forgotten. Heaven remembers. There are records in glory with your name on them, records of unseen obedience. Privat, surrender, secret sacrifices, and when the moment hits, all of it will be remembered. God doesn't waste obedience. He stores it. He multiplies it. And when the appointed time arrives, He reveals it in power. This time is not for those looking to be seen. It's for those willing to be sent. And being sent requires that you walk with weight, not performance. It means you carry the presence without needing credit. It means you walk into rooms not asking to be recognized, but ready to release what heaven gave you in private. You've been trained for this, even when you didn't realize it. That conversation you kept gentle when your flesh wanted to erupt. Training. That prayer you whispered when no one was looking. Training. That forgiveness you gave to someone who never apologized. Training. God's not just forming your anointing, He's forming your endurance. Because when the second week of August arrives, it won't just be about receiving. It will be about sustaining. Many will step into something new. Few will be able to hold it. And that's where your years of silence will become strength. What you learned in hiding will be what keeps you steady when exposure comes. It won't always feel glorious. Sometimes it will feel like more pressure. But pressure is how oil is released. The press of this season is squeezing the last traces of flesh so that only the oil remains. And that oil is what will carry you into the next realm. As declared in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 21, those who cleanse themselves will be instruments for special purposes, made holy, useful to the master and prepared to do any good work. Len, prepared. Not impulsive, not disparate. Prepared. That's what this is about. Heaven is preparing vessels, not celebrities. God is raising up people who don't need a stage to walk in power. People who've built altars in secret places. People who know what it means to wait, to yield, to trust. So don't curse the slow season. Don't resent the stretching. It's evidence that you've been chosen to carry something pure, something sacred, something that doesn't come with shortcuts. Let others rush. Let others copy and chase. But you stay the course, because when the glory of August touches earth, it will rest on the ready. And you, chosen one, are not just ready, you are willing to carry what others drop, willing to endure what others escape, willing to obey when it's costly. That's why you'll remain standing when the shaking begins. That's why glory will recognize you. There are moments in history when heaven leans close, not to observe, but to intervene. The second week of August is one of those moments. It will not arrive with your permission. It will arrive with power, and those who are positioned in spirit will not just witness it, they will activate it. You've been sensing it long before anyone confirmed it. A deep stirring, a silent countdown. You may not have had the language for it, but your spirit knew. Something beyond ordinary time is approaching. Something marked, something measured. This is why the weight has increased. The warfare, the stretching. It's not just the enemy coming against you, it's the weight of destiny settling into place. You are standing at the threshold of fulfillment, but fulfillment doesn't arrive through comfort. It arrives through response. And not everyone will respond well. Many will miss it, not because they were wicked, but because they were distracted. Too many are still chasing validation in places God has already departed from. Too many are seeking the approval of people who can't see what you carry. But you, chosen one, you're different. You've been marked in the spirit. Your oil cost you something. The process you endured in silence wasn't punishment. It was prophetic positioning. The kind of shaping only heaven understands. The kind of pruning only obedience can survive. And now, the hour is drawing near. In this next move, everything that has been dormant will be stirred. Spiritual gifts, untapped callings, forgotten words, buried mantles. This will not be a mild moment. This will be a reawakening. What has been sleeping in you is about to rise without apology. And what's rising in you has timing on it. As declared in the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11, the hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. There is no more room for passivity, no more space for playing it safe. The second week of August will split spiritual timelines. It will separate the casual from the committed, and those who have been secretly consecrated, hidden but faithful, will be thrust into visible places of impact. But this visibility will not be about spotlight, it will be about stewardship. Can you carry influence without losing integrity? Can you speak boldly without becoming arrogant? Can you walk in favor without forgetting where the fire formed you? That's what this moment will test. The pressure of August is not an attack. It's a revealing, not of your weakness, but of your weight, of your posture, of your readiness. And heaven is not looking for polished. It is looking for postured. You may still feel unfinished, uncertain, unqualified, but none of that disqualifies you. God has already made the decision. He saw you in your breaking. He watched you in your waiting. And still, He chose you. This next chapter is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming available. Right here, right now, in the midst of your weakness, your questions, your humility. And if this word is piercing through the noise, if your heart is burning while you read, if tears are trying to form and your chest feels tight, it's not emotion, it's recognition. Your spirit is saying yes, even if your mind hasn't caught up. So don't let this moment pass in silence. If you feel the weight of this word, if it resonates like confirmation in your very bones, then make this declaration by typing the number 2025. Why this number? Because it's not just a year, it's a seal, a prophetic timestamp. By typing 2025, you are placing your agreement on what heaven is assigning to that very window. You are saying, this is my hour. This is my moment. This is not just a season, this is a setup. You're not just marking time, you're marking territory. You're claiming your space in what God is doing. and every angel on assignment, every gatekeeper of glory, every unseen watcher of your obedience will recognize the signal. 2025. Note, a prediction, a declaration. Heaven knows who's responding. Hell is watching, who's ready. And the earth itself is groaning for the revealing of the ones who will not miss their hour. So if you know this is for you, type it now. 2025. Boldly, prophetically, without hesitation. Because when the shaking begins, those who sealed the word will walk in the release. And those who delayed won't just miss the moment, they'll wonder forever why they hesitated when heaven called. There are moments in your life that don't announce themselves with sound, but with weight, not with noise, but with pressure. And if you've been paying attention, you've already felt it. You may not have language for it, but the shift is real. The second week of August isn't approaching, it's already begun, weaving itself into your spiritual atmosphere. The sense of urgency, the shedding of distractions, the spiritual heaviness in your chest that doesn't go away. All of it points to one truth. This moment is not like the others. You've stepped into a divine setup. Heaven isn't just watching how you react, it's weighing how you respond. Because this isn't just about what God is doing around you. It's about what He's activating in you. The waiting room you've been stuck in, it's about to become the birthing room. But labor doesn't begin in the hospital. It begins in the body, quietly, deeply. And once it starts, there's no going back. This is that moment. God is now awakening what He placed in you long before others could even see it. And when He awakens something, He does not ask your comfort, He demands your cooperation. You've been asking Him to speak clearly, but the truth is, He already has. The dreams, the promptings, the unexpected redirections, these weren't random. They were part of the signal, the call to attention, the final alert before release. And what's coming requires that you move differently, not louder, not faster, but with the kind of deliberate obedience that scares hell. That kind of obedience doesn't need applause. It doesn't seek validation. It walks quietly, with fire in its eyes and clarity in its step. You've already begun to walk this way without even realizing it. The way you've pulled away from old conversations, the way you've stopped explaining your convictions, the way you've chosen peace over people-pleasing. These are signs. You're being reformed, not into who people expect you to be, but into who heaven designed you to become. It's happening in layers. The part of you that used to tolerate spiritual apathy, gone. The part of you that stayed silent to keep others comfortable, being stripped. The part of you that feared what obedience would cost, dying. And what's rising in its place is boldness, precision, stillness, focus. You're not just becoming stronger, you're becoming clearer. Because clarity is the power many never access. And that's why you felt the confusion lately. It's not because God isn't speaking. It's because the enemy is trying to cloud the frequency. He knows what's on the other side of your decision. That one step of obedience you're on the edge of making. It terrifies darkness. And that's why the distractions have multiplied. That's why your emotions have been under attack. Because you're not just close, you're critical to what comes next. Chosen one. This is not the time to be casual. The second week of August won't wait for you to feel ready. It will come with or without your confidence. That's why God has spent months preparing your spirit instead of your comfort zone. Comfort doesn't carry glory. Consecration does. And your spirit has already been postured for the weight of what's approaching. You've walked through storms that would have broken others. You've endured long stretches of silence where heaven felt distant. But still you prayed. Still you waited. Still you believed. That wasn't wasted. It was recorded. And now, the record of your surrender is about to be turned into evidence. Not for you to prove anything to people, but for God to prove His word through you. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 11, what I have said, that I will bring about, what I have planned, that I will do. And God is not guessing about your future. He's already written it, and He is not hesitant. He is exact. The second week of August is not a suggestion, it's a scheduled fulfillment. And when it hits, there will be no more room for delay disguised as discernment. No more space for emotional hesitation. The window will open, and only the ready will respond. So let this moment press you deeper into Him. Let the weight settle. Let the quiet prepare you. No signs, no sounds, just certainty in your soul. Because when the moment arrives, you won't need to run toward it. You'll realize it's already standing right in front of you. And this time, you won't flinch. You'll rise, ready, anointed, and fully aware this was always part of the plan. It's easy to believe that significant moments come with spectacle, thunder, applause, fire from the sky. But some of the most holy shifts begin in silence, unannounced, unseen, unnoticed by the crowds, and yet, in the spirit, they echo louder than anything heard in the natural. The second week of August is one of those shifts. It will arrive without fanfare, but it will divide timelines. It will not need noise to make impact. It will carry weight, and those who have been tuned to heaven's frequency will feel it before anyone names it. You're not anticipating a moment. You're already standing in the build-up of it. The atmosphere is thicker, more electric, not with emotion, but with expectation. And this expectation isn't rooted in hype, it's rooted in heaven's memory. Because God does not forget what He has promised, and everything you've been carrying, solving, and surrendering is now colliding with the appointed time. This is the kind of season where those who've stayed low will be lifted, not by force, but by favor, not because they've asked, but because they've endured. You didn't come this far by accident. You didn't survive the stripping, the testing, the breaking, just to return to normal. You are standing on sacred ground, not because of where you are, but because of what you've become. Heaven has watched your transformation in the unseen places, and now, heaven is preparing to respond. But make no mistake, glory does not come to flatter, it comes to refine. This move won't validate your comfort zone, it will challenge it. The light that's coming will not just reveal your gifts, it will reveal your gaps. And that's mercy, not judgment. Because God will never pour new oil into a vessel that refuses to be stretched. That's why the stretching hasn't let up. That's why you've felt the tension in every area, emotionally, spiritually, relationally. Not because something's wrong, but because something's right. You are being fitted for what you prayed for. And preparation doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like pressure. Sometimes it feels like confusion. But inside that confusion is the invitation to surrender again, because what's coming will not be sustained by talent. It will require yielded hearts, hearts that no longer need to be seen to stay faithful, Hearts that don't need results to keep believing. Hearts that can carry delay without birthing bitterness. That's the kind of heart God is preparing in you. Not a perfect one, but a postured one. You are in the final stages of spiritual calibration. And it's quiet not because God has gone silent, but because He's fine-tuning the details. Heaven is arranging encounters, shifting alignments, closing doors you thought you needed, rewriting what you assumed was finished. All of it is preparation for 1 week, one window where eternity will lean into time and everything will shift. This is not just your moment, it's a holy collision. As spoken in the first book of Peter, chapter 5, verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. Due time. Appointed time. The kind of moment no effort can create and no delay can deny. You've been walking faithfully without results, believing when nothing changed, trusting through tears, and every ounce of it was seen. Not one moment has been wasted. You didn't miss your turn. You didn't fall behind. You were being hidden so that when the door opened, no one but God could get the credit. And now, the final pruning is happening. The unnecessary is being stripped. The excess is being removed. Not to hurt you, but to make room for what's coming. Because what's coming is not light. It's glory. And glory always demands space. Let Him finish what He started. Don't resist the final touches. Don't run from the discomfort of refinement. Every pressure point is strategic. Every delay is prophetic. Every closed door is a gift. You are not empty. You are being emptied. And only the emptied can be filled with what lasts. So stay in this moment. Let it do its work. Let the silence teach you. Let the tension temper you. Because what comes next will not ask if you're ready, it will reveal whether you are. And the ones who are ready won't need to announce themselves. Their fruit will speak. And that fruit will not only testify of your endurance, it will draw others into the new season God is releasing. You are not alone. You are the vanguard of this breakthrough. Chosen one. The moment you've been waiting for is closer than you realize. The second week of August is not a distant event. It is an imminent arrival, a tidal wave of divine intervention that will sweep through every area of your life. And whether you feel ready or not, this wave is coming. But here's the truth. Those who are positioned in obedience and faith will not only survive, they will thrive. You've endured seasons of waiting, of silence, of spiritual wrestling. You've walked through valleys where hope seemed dim, but every step, every tear, every sacrifice has been preparing you for this very hour. You are not a casualty of the times, you are a carrier of change. This is why I urge you to like this message if it stirs something deep inside you. Let that click be a declaration that you are awake to the season. Let it be a sign to the spiritual realm that you are ready to move with the wave, not be overwhelmed by it. And don't keep this word to yourself. Share it with those around you who are also standing on the edge of breakthrough. Someone out there needs this confirmation as much as you do. Your share could be the spark that lights their path, the encouragement that keeps them standing when they want to fall. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Don't miss the flow of prophetic words that will continue to guide, empower, and equip you through what lies ahead. The days to come will demand clarity and connection, and staying plugged in is the difference between drifting and thriving. For those of you who want to go deeper and partner with this mission, consider supporting us. Your donation helps maintain the quality and reach of these messages, allowing them to touch lives around the world. This isn't about the platform, it's about advancing the kingdom. When you sow into the harvest of revelation, you unlock acceleration in your own life as well. Now, listen closely. This wave will not be gentle. It will come with intensity that will separate the casual from the committed. The second week of August is a divine test as much as it is a divine release. Your obedience during this time will determine your portion in the coming glory. You may feel pressure rising, emotions swirling, and the enemy pushing harder. That is no accident. The enemy always increases opposition when God's hand is about to move mightily, but you have been equipped for this. You carry a light that terrorizes darkness. Your presence alone disrupts the enemy's plans. Stand firm. Speak the word. Walk in faith. Scripture reminds us in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart. And wait for the Lord. Waiting is not passive. It is strength in action. It is courage anchored in trust. You are being called to rise up, not to rush forward blindly, but to move deliberately with God's timing. In this season, your spiritual posture is everything. It determines your breakthrough. It determines your peace amid the storm. It determines your impact. So I invite you, if you hear this word in your spirit, if you feel stirred by the confirmation, leave a comment below. Share what God is doing in your life. Tell us your testimony. Your story will inspire others and build a community of the faithful, the watchful, the chosen. Type your affirmation now. Let it be bold. Let it be prophetic. Say, I walk in faith. And this declaration is more than words. It is a spiritual alignment, a covenant of readiness with heaven. It signals to the universe that you are no longer sitting on the sidelines. You are moving in your destiny. Remember, the second week of August will not wait. It will not linger. It is a divine appointment, a moment when the heavens will shake, when barriers will fall, and when the promises long held in your heart will begin to manifest. Don't be caught unaware. Be the one who moves with purpose. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Stay connected. Stay prepared. And if you are led, sow generously into this work. Your seed is more than support. It's a prophetic declaration that you are invested in the unfolding glory. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are God's chosen, and your breakthrough is at hand. Step forward boldly. Your destiny awaits, and the glory that follows will shine through you forever. The moments before a great awakening are often marked by silence, a deep, heavy silence that presses upon the soul. This silence is not absence, it is presence. It is the stillness in which God prepares His chosen for the move that will change everything. The second week of August is approaching, and with it comes this sacred pause, a pause that demands your attention and your alignment. You may have felt the weight of this silence pressing down on your spirit. It's the kind of weight that unsettles old comforts and forces the heart to confront its true condition. It asks difficult questions. Are you ready to be different? Are you willing to be refined? Can you surrender what feels safe for what feels divine? This silence is God's way of separating the wheat from the chaff. It is a refining fire that burns away what is superficial, what is lukewarm, what is no longer fit for the purpose of glory. And it is this very fire that will purify your spirit and prepare you for the explosion of destiny that is about to erupt. You are not here by accident. You are not part of the crowd. You have been chosen, marked, and prepared. But the call to be chosen is also a call to become, to transform, to lay down the old and walk in the new. The second week of August will not be kind to the casual or the complacent. It will reveal what is hidden and elevate what has been hidden in the shadows. This is not a time to retreat into comfort. It is a time to rise with courage, faith, and relentless obedience. The enemy will intensify his attacks in these days, trying to shake your faith and confuse your mind. But remember, the greater the glory, the greater the opposition. This is a spiritual battlefield where only those armed with faith and perseverance will stand firm. You've been tested in ways that seemed unbearable, but those tests were the training ground for your breakthrough. The strength you feel fading is the strength being replaced by something greater, something eternal. The tears you have shed have watered the seed of your destiny, and soon that seed will burst forth into full bloom. God's timing is perfect, even when it feels delayed. Every moment of waiting has been purposeful. Every season of silence has been a setup for your emergence. And now, that emergence is imminent. You are being positioned for a divine explosion, a spiritual shift that will touch every area of your life and beyond. This is not merely about personal gain, it is about your role in the unfolding of God's kingdom on earth. As it is written in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 3, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness, like the stars forever." You are called to be among the wise, the radiant, the leaders of this new era. But wisdom is not gained overnight. It is forged in the crucible of experience, humility, and unwavering trust in God's plan. The stars shine brightest in the darkest nights. Likewise, your light will emerge most clearly through the trials and challenges you face now. Do not be discouraged by the shadows. They are merely the backdrop against which your glory will be revealed. Prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Let go of the fears and doubts that have held you back. Open your heart fully to the movement of the Spirit. This is the time to deepen your intimacy with God, to listen more intently, and to obey more quickly. The shift coming in August will require agility and resilience. It will demand that you step into new roles and responsibilities that may seem daunting. But remember, God equips those He calls. You will not be given a task without the provision to accomplish it. Do not underestimate the power of your prayers, your worship, and your declarations. They are the keys that will unlock the door to your breakthrough. Keep your focus fixed on the promises of God, and refuse to be distracted by the temporary storms. Your breakthrough is not just about a moment, it is about a movement that will ripple through generations and change the course of many lives. Your obedience now is laying the foundation for that eternal impact. So stand firm, be vigilant, guard your heart and mind. Let the silence of preparation strengthen you rather than weaken you. And know this, what God is doing in you and through you in this season is greater than you can imagine. You are not alone. The angels are assigned to your steps. Heaven is orchestrating every detail. The enemy's time is short, and your time to shine is now. As the final days approach, you stand at the threshold of destiny, a sacred boundary between the past you have known and the future God has prepared. The second week of August is not merely a date on the calendar, it is a divine crossroads, where decisions made in quiet moments will echo throughout eternity. You are no longer the person who began this journey. You have been shaped, refined, and prepared for what lies ahead. This season has tested your faith like never before. You have faced storms that threatened to overwhelm, moments when hope seemed dim, and times when your strength faltered. Yet, through it all, you have persevered. Your endurance has been the soil in which your purpose has taken root. And now, the fruit of that perseverance is about to be revealed. God is calling you to step fully into your calling, not with hesitation, but with confidence. Confidence born not from your own ability, but from the assurance that He who began a good work in you will carry it to completion. This is your moment to move beyond survival into triumph, beyond waiting into action. The enemy will intensify his efforts in these final moments, attempting to sow doubt, fear, and distraction. But remember, the fiercest battles precede the greatest victories. Your victory has already been secured on the cross, and your role now is to stand firm in the authority that Christ has given you. Do not be dismayed by the shaking around you. Every disruption is a sign of transformation. Foundations that were once unstable are being dismantled to make way for something stronger, purer, and more enduring. The second week of August will serve as a spiritual clearing, a time when false securities fall away and true alignment is confirmed. You have been called not to be shaken, but to be the one who stands unmovable. Your faith is your foundation. Your obedience is your weapon. Your hope is your shield. Together, they form an unbreakable fortress against the schemes of darkness. Scripture reminds us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." Oh, this is your declaration. No matter the trials, accusations, or challenges, you are protected, equipped, and victorious. The Word of God is your sword, and the Spirit of the Lord is your strength. As the spiritual atmosphere shifts, you will begin to see clarity where there was confusion, peace where there was turmoil, and favor where there was opposition. Doors that seemed permanently closed will open. Alignments that appeared impossible will fall into place. What the enemy intended for harm will be turned into your promotion. You are stepping into a season of supernatural acceleration, a divine momentum that will carry you beyond your natural capacity. This momentum is fueled by your faithfulness in the waiting and your willingness to remain aligned with God's timing. Remember, breakthroughs often come not in a moment, but as a process. The second week of August will mark the culmination of what has been unfolding for years. It is the season where heaven's promises become tangible realities. Your role in this season is crucial. You are a gatekeeper, a warrior, and a witness. The choices you make now will impact not only your life, but the lives of many who will follow in your footsteps. This is a generational moment. Embrace it with humility and boldness. Let your heart be filled with gratitude for the journey thus far, and with expectation for all that is yet to come. God's faithfulness has been your anchor, and His grace will be your guide. As you move forward, carry with you the knowledge that you are not alone. Heaven has aligned forces in your favor. Angels are assigned to your protection, The Spirit of God is empowering you for this hour. This is your appointed time. Step into it with courage. Walk in your purpose with passion. Live in the fullness of all God has prepared for you. Your story is far from over. The best is yet to come. And as you step into this new season, remember that every step is empowered by divine purpose. You are not walking blindly. You are led by the one who holds the stars and orchestrates every detail of your life. Challenges may arise, but they will only serve to strengthen your resolve. The glory awaiting you is worth every trial. Stand firm, for you are God's chosen, destined to shine brightly in a darkened world. Chosen one, you have journeyed through the depths of divine revelation and prophetic alignment. The truths you have received are not merely words, they are a calling, a mandate, a sacred invitation to step into the fullness of your destiny. The second week of August will mark a seismic shift in the spiritual realm and in your life. You are not here by accident. You are here because heaven has handpicked you for such a time as this. As you reflect on this message, I encourage you to like this video to affirm your readiness to embrace what God is releasing. Your like is more than just a click. It is a declaration of your alignment with the divine purpose unfolding in your life. Do not keep this powerful word to yourself. Share it with those who are also seeking clarity, strength, and confirmation. Your share could be the lifeline that awakens another chosen one to their calling. If this message resonates deeply within you, subscribe to this channel. We are committed to bringing you ongoing prophetic insight and spiritual guidance through every season. Staying connected ensures you remain in the flow of God's unfolding plan. For those who feel stirred to partner further in this mission, consider sowing a seed through a donation. Your generous support helps expand the reach of these life-changing messages, empowering countless others to step into their divine destiny. Remember, sowing into revelation brings acceleration and breakthrough in your own life. Finally, I invite you to comment below, declare your faith, share your testimony, or simply affirm your readiness to walk boldly into your breakthrough. Let your voice join a community of the faithful, the watchful, the anointed. You are God's chosen. Your breakthrough is imminent. Walk in it with confidence, courage, and unstoppable faith.